Getting older teaches you a lot of things. It's taught me that 90% of friendships don't end with anger, but simply end because life pulls us in different directions. In life, friendships often end similarly to online friendships, like last online 7 years ago kind of thing. Friends drift away not by choice, but by the quiet distance life creates. So it's important not to see social media and other displays of people having friends performatively and get that sense of fear of missing out. In most circumstances, I would suggest people being open to being friendly to people and maybe making friends in some circumstances, but don't seek new friendships after your 20s begin. And don't get me wrong, if you have good friendships in your life, hold on to them, treasure them, because the unfortunate thing is you're not going to make new friendships that are as valuable as the ones that have been going on for years. I'm talking about the kind of people who you've been hanging out with for a decade. That time's just not going to come back. It's one of the tragedies of life is that the time investment that you have is so important of a resource. It's more valuable than money. And the friendships that you've invested in your life are just as valuable because you invested your time with them when you were a completely different person. As you age, you don't lose friends. You lose versions of yourself that once needed those people. In high school, I felt like I had 100 friends. Then, as you get older, responsibilities come into your life, and you simply do not have time to hang out with your friends anymore, or else that's the way that it feels. And then, as you get older, you realize that you don't have time to do 90% of the stuff that you used to do with those people. Sometimes, as you're starting to reach that age, it's usually the early 20s, it's when you try to reconnect with some people who maybe you were friends with in high school or you used to spend time with, and you bump into them. Maybe you planned it, maybe you didn't, but you see them and you see that life has changed who they are. And this could be one of the most depressing, one of the most disheartening things that a young person can experience. It's seeing that the spirit of somebody who you were with in high school just no longer exists anymore. Maybe they changed for the better, but the fact of the matter is that they're no longer the person who they once were. And after 20 years old, you don't need a big circle anymore, really. Still stay friends with them online or whatever, but as you get older, your in real life friends are just not needed as much. They're a real burden to keep up with so many friends all the time. If you have 3 solid friends, a friend group of 3 people really, so you're the third, then you are immensely blessed, and that is the exact perfect amount for a person to hold on to and actually have as they move forward. And these don't count family members. You should always be friendly with your family members. They don't count your significant other and so forth. Just a solid group of 3 people who will help each other get out of jams, who maybe get together and stay in touch for holidays and stuff like that. A solid group of 3 people who see each other and stay in touch and keep up with one another as time goes on. If you could hold on to those 3 people, that friend group of 3 people, and then extend it out from there and still have acquaintances, it obviously is like different rungs of friends, then you're doing all right. So there's really no need to feel like you don't have many friends. There's no need to feel like you need to make friends. You either have friends or you don't, but it's really essential to stay, fundamentally, if you take one thing away from this, it's being comfortable being alone, being comfortable being yourself, and be friendly with the people who you come across in your life, of course. Like you see somebody at the grocery store who's bagging your groceries, or the guy at the gas station, be friendly to those people. You want to live your life where you get a smile and you get recognized by the people who you interact with on a day-to-day life, even though they're not your friends, technically you don't know their phone number or anything like that. I think that it improves quality of life significantly to be the kind of person whose bank teller is always happy to see them when they walk in. And this is a really fundamental thing about just finding little social interactions throughout the various different parts of your day. Just being social and interacting with people the same way that you would have when you were in high school and you used to have a big circle of people to talk to back then. You still have that circle. It's just a town now. It's just a larger world where you could still be friendly with people. You could still have conversations on a superficial level with strangers and make friends with these people all you want. And I believe that those small social interactions do fill a certain communal void that we're missing with modernity, with the rise of technology and how things are so not personal anymore. You could still bring that personal aspect into any room that you walk into. So if you take anything out of this, take one thing. You don't need friends, but you need to be a friendly person. Always be open to different circumstances whenever the opportunity arises. You never know what life will bring you. I don't know your life. These are just my thoughts on my life, things that I've experienced thus far. Be a good husband, be a good wife, be a good partner, whatever the case may be a good family member, be a good son, be a good brother, be a good sister. These are the things that are probably the most important because family members are the people who had the most time investment with you and know you more than anybody else. Of course, it's nice to have friends, but always pay attention to the people who are closest to you and where they are in life, because you're the average of the 3 people who you're closest to. And that's just a fact. If you want to know where you're going to be in 5 years, just look at the 3 people who are closest to you. And that's a pretty good guess.